there, Stampers. My name is Sherry Roth. I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Alberta, Canada. And welcome to, I think this is the third Slimline Saturday post for the month of September. And today we are going to make a Slimline gift card holder. So I'm going to share this. I'll open this up for you so you can see what it looks like. So it will hold a gift card, and then this insert comes out. Now you have a couple different options here. You could just stamp this tree right on the background here, and same with the Merry Christmas. But I thought that by offering the insert, then the receiver can actually, you can write your message on here. The receiver can then turn around and reuse this piece. So it's kind of a reusable gift card holder. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Tuck that in there. Okay, so we are going to start with an 8.5 by 11 inch piece of Whisper White cardstock. You can use either regular Whisper White or thick Whisper White for this. And we are going to cut it down to 10.25 inches. But we're going to leave it 8.5. All right, and then we're going to do some scoring. So we're going to score it at 3.5 inches. And 7 inches. And then what you're going to do is you're going to line this score line up with, and this, the bottom right hand corner, up with the groove on your paper trimmer. So I've got the score line lined up with the track, and then the bottom point, I'm sure it's out of camera, I don't think you can see that, but at an angle like that, and I'm going to cut. And I did it backwards. Nope, that's okay. No, I did it right. Okay. Okay, so that is all the cutting and scoring that we need to do. Now I'm going to use my bone folder and fold it nice and crisp. So the diagonal cut gets folded in, and that's going to create our pocket. And then this gets folded down, and that creates our card front. Okay, so just like that. All right, so I'm going to make this, I'm going to use my bone folder and make this really nice and crisp. And then I'll use just a little bit of multi-purpose glue along the side here. And stick that down just like that. And then I'm going to stick something on top of it just so that it will set while we bring in some of the other pieces. Okay, so the other pieces that you'll need for the front is you'll need a piece of old olive. This measures 3.25 by 8.25. I will have all the measurements listed below and also on my blog post that features this product as well. So you don't need to jot them down. You can always go back and look at them. And then I've got a piece of DSP. This DSP is actually from the Trimming the Town DSP, which is in the August to December 2020 mini catalog. That measures 3 1/8 by 2 inches. And then I've got a piece of Whisper White cardstock that measures 3 1/8 by 6. And I've gone ahead and run it through my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine using the polka dot folder from the Wrapped in Texture embossing folders package. So you get 2 embossing folders in that package. So I use the one with the clusters of 4 polka dots. So we're going to attach these all to this old olive base. And that will give us just about a 1/16 of an inch border all the way around. Just like that. And then a little bit of adhesive here. Now this cut at 2 inches, I cut it at that because I happen to have a piece that was only 4 inches wide. You'll see that there is a little bit of a gap here, and that's fine if you're going to fill that gap with ribbon. But if you want it to butt right up against it, then you might want to cut it 2 1/8 inches wide. Okay, or even 2 1/4 if you want it to kind of tuck underneath. So I'll bring that a little closer so you can see that there's a little bit of a gap, and it looks just fine, even just like that. But I'm going to take a little bit of this is called the Real Red Braided Linen Trim. This is also from that same mini catalog. I'm going to cut a length. Where are my scissors? I'm going to cut a length just a little bit longer than my card base and use some mini glue dots to adhere those so it fits just perfectly in here. So I'm going to line it up right in that groove and then attach a mini glue dot to the back and fold it over the edge, and then do the same for the other end. So it's lined up right in that groove. Stick a mini glue dot on and wrap it around. If you aren't familiar with slimline cards, this is kind of a popular trend that is going on right now. I've done, like I said, I think this is my third one in the series, and I will link to all those videos. And then I also did, before I started the series, I filmed a video going into detail on what a slimline card is. So it gives you all the measurements, where to find the envelopes, that type of thing. So I will link to that video in the description below as well. Okay, so now we've got our pretty base. Now it's time to get some stamping done. So I've got a scrap of Whisper White cardstock and a scrap of Pear Pizzazz cardstock. And the stamp set that I'm using is called the Triangle stamp set. So this is also from that mini catalog, and it is, I've been having so much fun with this stamp set. It's great for the holidays, so great for Christmas cards, but they're also, if you don't look at it as a Christmas set, these are very generic. You can use them for, they make great patterns, background patterns for cards or scrapbook layouts. So it's been really fun to play with. Okay, so we're going to start with this tree and some real red cardstock. And I'm just going to stamp that on the scrap. It's going to get die cut, so it doesn't matter where it's stamped. And then we also want to stamp it on our layer that's going to go on the inside of the card. Now this piece measures 3 inches by 7.5 inches, and I'm going to stamp it right on the left-hand side of this piece. Let's make sure it's straight. Okay, so we'll come back to that again in a minute. We're done with that one. Now I'm going to bring in some Pear Pizzazz ink and this triangular one, or more symmetrical triangle. I guess, no, symmetrical is not the word, but the one with the diamond shape. The one that's a shorter and fatter triangle. And we'll stamp one on there, and that's all we need for this one. And then I'm going to bring in some Old Olive ink and this smallest tree. And I'm going to stamp one on this scrap of white. And then we'll move that aside. I'm going to bring in my card base, and I'm going to stamp one on the flap on the inside of my card. Just like that. Okay, so we've got all our trees stamped. Now we need to do the trunks. So I'm going to use some early espresso ink and the little tree trunk image that is in the set. Got some ink on my hands. I want to make sure I don't get it on my card here. So I'm going to stamp this guy right on the cardstock, just like that. And then on this one, I'm going to stamp 3 of them. Okay, and then I'll bring in this one, and I'll add the trunk right onto here as well. I love photopolymer stamps. They make it so easy to line things up. All right, so I think all of our stamping is done. Now to die, oh no, we have one more thing to stamp. And what color did I stamp it in? I stamped it in real red. So I wanted, actually there are a couple more things. We'll come back, we'll do the greetings afterwards. Okay, so as far as cutting these, you can, because they're triangular shaped, you can easily cut them just with a long bladed scissor. So something like this, you can easily just freehand cut them. But we do have some dies that coordinate with them. These are from the annual catalog. These are called the stitched triangle dies. And there is a die that will cut each one of these those triangle trees. Okay, so I've gone ahead and I've cut those out. So you don't need to watch me do that. But let me show you what they look like. So they've got that stitching right around the edge. So it's very subtle, but it's a nice touch, okay? And then for the tree trunks, I just freehand fussy cut those. They're really easy to fussy cut because they're just straight lines. Okay, so we'll move those things out of the way and we can start to assemble. So I'm gonna add this tree first and we're going to add it. Oh, look at that. I was playing around with adding different shades on the back and look at it, almost lines up perfectly with the other side. Isn't that crazy? So I'm just using a little bit of seal adhesive. I'm putting it on flat onto my card front. And then I'll add a little bit of seal to the trunk. And that's going to get tucked right underneath there. Just use my scissors here to position it where I want it. This guy I'm going to pop up using dimensionals. So I'm just using mini dimensionals, but you can use regular dimensionals as well. And we'll put that, oh, let's put it so our triangles are going the right way. So I'm overlapping the trees just ever so slightly, and then I'll just put a little bit of seal adhesive, and again, just tuck this underneath. It's helpful to have, I have a pair of tweezers, but they're not on my desk right now. Okay, so tuck that under there, and then this guy's going to go flat. And for this one, I'm going to actually attach the trunk first. So just like that. And he's going to get tucked kind of under like that. Okay, so we've got our trees on there. And then what I did was I used these dies. These are the Joy dies. I love these. These layer beautifully, so you can get a fine Joy, just like what I've got here, cut with these ones. So there's Joy, Bright, and Peace, and then there's layers. So there's several different ways that you could use these. These are fabulous, I love them. So what I did for this is I took a piece of our self-adhesive sheets. They are like 6 by 12 inch sheets of double-sided adhesive, and you cut it down so it's slightly smaller than the cardstock you're gonna put it on, and stick it to the back of the cardstock. So peel off one layer, stick it to the back of the cardstock, then place your die on top, just like that. Run it through your die cutting machine, and you end up with a piece like this. You can pop out the extra bits. And then, see there's a white backing. You peel off that white backing, and you've got a sticker. So you don't have to use any messy liquid glue. They make things quick and easy, very little hassle, and no mess. All right, so then it's stuck on there. The last thing that we're going to do to the front of this is we are going to take some of the wonderful gems and we're going to add those. So I'm going to use one of the big ones here. Let's put it here. And then a small one up here. And then another big one kind of over here. Or maybe I'll do it over here. Okay, so there's our card front. Now inside, I want to do one more thing. I'm going to take this greeting, and this greeting is from the Wrapped in Christmas stamp set, also from the holiday catalog, because I really wanted the A Little Something for You. So I'm going to stamp that, and I'm going to use real red ink and stamp it right here beside this tree, just like that. This is the perfect greeting set because, or specific greeting because it's not meant to go on straight. So it doesn't matter whether you stamp it straight or not. Okay, so we're going to set that aside. We're going to bring in these two pieces. So I had given you the measurement of this one. This white piece measures 3 by 7.5 inches. This red piece measures 3 1/4 by 7 3/4. And this is going to get matted right on top of that. But before we do that, we're going to do a little bit more stamping. So I'm taking the word Mary, and that is from the Triangle stamp set. And my Early Espresso ink. I'm going to ink that up. Stamp that down right there. And then I'm going to use another greeting from this set, that same set, the Triangle set. It says Christmas is best when we're together. But what I want is I just want the word Christmas because I wanted Merry Christmas on the inside of this card. So this is my way of using that same stamp set, but just using bits and pieces of it to get what I want. So I'm using the Early Espresso Stampin' Write marker. And I'm just coloring right on the stamp and just inking the word Christmas. Then I'm going to give it a huff and stamp it right underneath the word Merry, just like that. And now I have Merry Christmas. It's in a couple different fonts, but that's okay because I love it when Stampin' Up! Combines fonts. So we'll just attach these two together. So this Triangle stamp set is also the stamp set that I'm using for this month's treasure box, which is a class in the mail that I offer at the middle of every month. It's $45. You get the stamp set and all the pre-cut pieces to complete 6 cards, 2 each of 3 designs. And I'll share them really quickly with you in a minute. And I will also post a link to where you can find more information on that. There we go. So, and then your gift card just tucks right inside just like that. You can also use a mini glue dot and attach it to the insert if you want. Isn't that a cute card? So I hope you guys enjoyed this Slimline Saturday post. I think I have 2 more planned for September, and then I'll decide if I want to keep going for that for the rest of maybe even the rest of the year. I don't know, we'll see. So here's a little peek at the cards that we are making in this month's treasure box. Super cute. Like I said, I will post a link to the information below, all the measurements you'll find below, as well as in the coordinating blog post. And if you don't want to miss out on any of my future Slimline videos or any of my future videos, be sure to hit that subscribe button. All right, and if there's anything that I can help you with or you'd like to purchase, feel free to visit my online store. I always appreciate your business. All right, thanks so much for watching.